mentioned, and I have to bring this up, going back a few moments ago, you were very adamant about there being a difference between knowledge,
Yes.
as we know it, and realization.
Yes.
Would you expand on what you mean by that?
Yes. Knowledge, the way I put it, now others may put it differently, but knowledge is based on, well, first of all, knowledge is a word that comes from the word to know, right? What is it to know something? What do you mean by I know? I know means you have certain information, data, right? That is converted into information. The data is converted into information, and you know that, the information, right? Which is what you call knowing. In other words, you have information.
Right.
Information,
So
you don't know information. Information is your knowledge. Information is a manifestation in the mind image. Information doesn't exist outside the mind image. There is no information. There is data. Now, this data, when converted into information, requires some kind of a linguistic structure, be it linguistical language or be it some other kind of a formal structure. To convert data into information, we need structure, we need language. So, knowledge comes from the data transformed into information through linguistic structures, which is recognized as information, which is the knowledge. Realization means knowing something without the linguistic structure. So actually it's not really knowing, it is realizing. And the moment you put words to it, trying to convert that into information as part of your knowledge base, then it becomes knowledge. It's no longer realization. For example, you may be in a meditative state, a deep meditation state, and you have a realization. In and of itself, there is no knowledge there. In and of itself, you don't know what you have realized, but you realize something.
would it be accurate to say some kind of a shift
Yes.
takes place?
Yes, that shift takes place before there is a linguistic structure applied to it. So that's a realization. Now, you come out of meditation and you try to remember what you had realized.
And put words
So
to
you put words to it, and that becomes your knowledge. And now you have stored it as a knowledge base. That which was once just realized without any words to it.
I can also see the value, how valuable it is to discern the two, because it's quite easy to study something, to have knowledge about it, to repeat what we've heard or repeat what we've read,
Yes.
but that is quite different from a realization.
Exactly. That's such a good point, Millie, because most people have a tendency to read scriptures and then repeat them without having a realization of what the original author of the scripture had realized. When that author had converted that realization into his or her knowledge base and wrote the scriptures. So we just repeat the words without and the words are only the catalyst, because the words are finite and the realization is infinite. And anything finite cannot know the infinite.
Mm.
So knowledge being finite cannot have an infinite realization. Because, why do I say the word infinite there? Because realization is based in truth. You don't have realization of falsicities. You don't realize a false thing and say, I realize. No, that's not realization. That is a misconstrued realization based on your preconceived notions which come from your knowledge base. Realization in and of itself is pure. It has no preconceived notions attached to it. See? So when you go into meditation, what you are trying to do there in that state is not have any preconceived notions. You want your slate totally clean. So we say, or in the scriptures, and the yogis have always said this, that you want to bring about total suppression of all your senses and of your knowledge when you go into meditation. Mm-hmm. What that means is have the slate clean, so that there is no knowledge base to give you a preconceived notion that will then construe or misconstrue is a better word there, that misconstrue that which you think you have realized. A false notion is not a realization. A false notion is false knowledge. It's falsely construed knowledge. When you have realization, it's pure and it's in the instant. In that instant that you have realization, into the next moments, what happens is our brain-mind system tries to convert that or make something out of it using linguistic structures to create information, to create a knowledge base out of it. And that is no longer realization. Realization is only of truth. You cannot have knowledge of truth. Knowledge is finite.
What comes to mind for me right now is Ashoi, having two children go through the school system as it is in the Western world, or perhaps the entire world at this point. Mm-hmm. And what you are saying needs suppressed is what is absolutely encouraged.
Well, I say suppressed only when you are in meditation. You don't need to suppress your knowledge when you go to work or when you drive a car, when you operate your stove, for instance, and you're making some tea. You need to apply knowledge there. You need to apply what you already know, how things work. Otherwise, you may end up burning yourself, blowing the place up. And you may not even know how to make tea. You need knowledge for that. Right? You need experience, which is knowledge. So there, it's important to have knowledge. Where it's not important, and in fact where it's not recommended or should not be, it doesn't have a place there, is when you want to realize truth.